Welcome to North Press News Harvest. This week in the headlines, women and children are repatriated from northeast Syria's camps, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham continues to operate openly in the Aleppo and Afrin regions, and protests against Syrian-Turkish rapprochement continue to sweep Syria's northwest. 3 women and 15 children were repatriated from camps in northeast Syria. 2 women and 13 children from ISIS families were repatriated to Spain from Roj camp, which houses women and children associated with ISIS. The 2 women were arrested upon their return to Spain, with a judge stating that the women and their husbands were part of the Al-Andalus Brigade, set up in Madrid to radicalize and recruit volunteers to fight for ISIS. Also this week, a woman and 2 children from Barbados were returned to their country. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, formerly Al-Nusra Front, continues to operate openly in the Afrin and Aleppo regions. On January 7th, several tanks and other military vehicles entered the Jinderis region through the Atma Derbalut crossing, passing through several checkpoints of the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army. 2 days later, the Turkish-backed Suleiman Shah faction arrested 2 men at a checkpoint near the military hospital in Afrin. The faction then handed them over to HTS, who took them to Idlib. On January 11th, HTS, in coordination with Turkish forces, deployed around 100 of its members in 16 observation posts along the Turkish border northwest of Idlib. In the last week, clashes have been ongoing between government forces and HTS, with 7 government soldiers killed or wounded and 5 HTS members wounded in the western countryside of Aleppo on January 11th. On January 12th, U.S. Representative to North and East Syria Nicholas Granger met with officials of the Autonomous Administration in Qamishli. The meeting discussed recent developments such as Syrian-Turkish rapprochement under the auspices of Russia, the threat of a potential Turkish invasion, and mechanisms for the entry of humanitarian aid into Syria. Protests against Syrian-Turkish normalization, which have been ongoing for weeks, continue in opposition-held areas of Syria. On January 13th, dozens of protesters took to the streets in the northern countryside of Aleppo. Protesters expelled the president of the opposition's Syrian National Coalition, Salim al-Maslet, and his associates from the site of a protest, describing them as Shabiha, or state-sponsored mercenaries of the Syrian government. An HTS source stated that under coordination with Turkish intelligence, 100 members of the Turkestan Islamic Party crossed into Turkey from Syria's Idlib, reportedly to receive military training in camps inside Turkey. The Turkestan Islamic Party is an extremist organization based in the Xinjiang region of China and has been designated as a terrorist organization by more than 9 countries, the EU, and the UN. The water level of the Tishreen Dam on the Euphrates River has dropped to unprecedented levels. On January 12th, the administration of the dam announced that the flow of the Euphrates into Syria is now less than 200 cubic meters per second, far lower than the internationally agreed upon level of 500 cubic meters per second. Because of this, the Tishreen Dam's reservoir has dropped by 5 meters, severely reducing the amount of electricity supplied to the Manbij and Euphrates regions. The dam can now only supply 140 megawatts for 5 hours per day, despite the region's needs being estimated at 1,000 megawatts per day. The value of the Syrian pound continues to fluctuate rapidly. After witnessing an improvement at the start of the year, when the US dollar was valued at 5,900 Syrian pounds, the currency's value crashed again, reaching 6,450 pounds to $1 in the middle of this week. Thanks for watching North Press News Harvest. For more daily and weekly updates, visit our website and subscribe to our social media channels.